It is Tuesday and time to get back into the swing of our city news and issues. After last week's regular meeting, we have Jim Foster, who's our Elko Regional Airport Manager, alongside our Elko City Manager. Jan Baum joins us today. And Jan, always fantastic to see you. Thank you.
Nice to see you as well, Lori. Thank you for having Jim and I.
Yes, we have a lot to discuss. There's a fan meeting on Thursday. We'll talk more about what the Flight Alliance of Northeastern Nevada is hoping to achieve. And it must be nice, Jim, our Elko Regional Airport Manager. We've enjoyed a nice year, and you have a brand new restaurant at the airport, which must make it nice. I noticed there's some breakfast specials on there on occasion, so get some good food.
Yeah, so the Kingdom Cafe opened up shop in the airport terminal there, and one of the items, or one of the parts of that, is they do offer breakfast service. Here recently, they are going to change their hours to 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Currently, they're open at 7 a.m. For breakfast, but after August 26th, they're gonna shorten that down to 8 a.m. For the breakfast side of things. And luckily for me, working out at the airport and having it next door, I've been able to try just about every item they have on the menu, and from their lunches. And I just recently started exploring their breakfast menu, and so I've had the sausage egg sandwich, which is amazing. So we're really happy for them. They are doing a fabulous job for us, bringing those customers down to the airport. And one thing to remember, if you do frequent, or if you go to that establishment, we aren't going to charge you airport parking. There's no reason for anyone to believe that we would charge them to park at the airport for coming down and enjoying a meal.
All right. I was going to ask you that, and I know that sometimes people get a little excited and start circulating the wrong things, but no, you enjoy free parking, and Kingdom Cafe is a local family-owned business, and it's wonderful that they're able to supply those meals, and obviously if they're still doing it, their food truck or catering, Jim, because it's important that our airline passengers have access to food whenever possible, certainly, but it's also nice for the community. It's just great to have a restaurant in that space.
It helps us out because it's an open area, and we like to have people there, and to come out and enjoy the terminal is still a fabulous facility, and to have a local family like that being able to come into the airport and provide that service. And it's just not, obviously just not for the traveling side of things, but it's for the community, and it's an amazing place to eat. They still do operate their food trucks on occasion, and so you'll still see them out and about. I think they were just out at PopCon recently.
Yes, what fun
for that event. So yeah, they're still they're doing really good, and they still provide that service.
Great. So we wanted to put in a proper plug for Kingdom Cafe, now open inside the Elko Regional Airport. Beautiful terminal there. It's a great little space. It is open to the public, so please get out there and enjoy the ambiance of the Elko Regional Airport. And while you're there, you might just check out a flight. Fly Elko. That's what the topic is today with Jan Baum. Jan is on the board of the Flight Alliance of Northeastern Nevada, correct?
Yes, thank you. So that's a newly formed nonprofit organization and our mission is to bring together private and public organizations to maintain and expand accessible, sustainable commercial air service at the Elko Regional Airport. And so we represent, or are hoping to represent, not only Elko Regional people within the City of Elko, but the County of Elko and Lander County and Eureka County, because the Elko Regional Airport services an entire catchment area, not just Elko County. So for sure we want input from all different different places and our locations, and then also public and private entities, because it isn't all about the public entities and the municipalities and counties. It's also about private entities and how they use the airport, how important it is to them, and we want input from everybody.
So there is a community meeting on Thursday, this week, Thursday, August 22nd at 4 p.m. at the Convention Center in the Turquoise Room.
In the Turquoise Room, yes. And yes, it'll be from 4 to 6. And it'll just be an introductory to what exactly FAN is. And then also some history of what's been going on in the last few years, what Jim Foster has been living. And through the Elko Regional Airport, all the changes that came about after the pandemic. Most of them a little bit negative, but now we're getting some positive changes, and we really have a great outlook and positive future ahead. I truly believe that.
Thanks, Jan. Well, we'll find out a little bit about what your world has been like. Jim Foster is our airport manager. You were able to make a presentation in Lander County, I think on August 8th. Is that, or Jan was there for that one, right?
Yeah, so that was the Flight Alliance that did that. And actually, there were 3 of us that went down, Amanda Osborne and Rex Denninger and myself. And we did give a presentation. We took a presentation to the Lander County Commissioners, and honestly, it was just some open communication and some questions and answers. And they are committed to the Flight Alliance of Northeastern Nevada and Elko Regional Airport commercial flight service as well, which was great to hear, and so great that they were able to partner with us, and they had some great input as well. So we just appreciate input and partnership.
We do know that the city is seeking financial contributions. I think Lander County was asked for about $250,000. Is that right, Jan? I think.
Yes, that's what they put into their budget. That's what they committed into their budget. And it isn't the city asking for it. It's the Flight Alliance of Northeastern Nevada, the nonprofit. And so just a little bit of background about the Flight Alliance is it is a nonprofit organization. And it's a 501c6, and it's similar to the Chamber of Commerce, where there'll be membership, and those members all are aligned into a certain purpose. And so the purpose of the, like I said, the mission and the purpose of the Flight Alliance will be to bring together private and public organizations and that are vested in the Elko Regional Airport, and to maintain and hopefully expand commercial air service into Elko Regional Airport. And so anyway, so FAN is a mechanism to bring people together, but also pay the minimum revenue guarantee that the City of Elko has been paying since the pandemic. But that key MRG payment has moved to FAN.
Okay, and it is important. That is a very important distinction, Jan. I'm glad that you brought that up. I know people might be confused because you are our city manager. Jim Foster is our Elko Regional Airport manager, but FAN is very distinct. It's its own private fundraising. And so membership, as you talked about, that could be scaled back. I'm sure that'll be talked about at Thursday's meeting for maybe individuals, businesses, anybody who wants to contribute.
Absolutely. And then, yes, so we don't have any strict membership fees. All of it is just developing. So obviously we have membership right now, which are primarily the City of Elko, Elko County, and Lander County. But that's what this introductory meeting will all be about, is educating on exactly what FAN is and trying to get people interested in perhaps being a member. And also we would currently the board is very governmental heavy, and we understand that, but that's how we got it started up. And so in the future we would like to pull in more private organizations for the board seats as well.
All right, so you can find out more during Thursday's meeting. So back over to you, Jim. I think you were able to talk about during the recent council meeting, how are employments going? Did people take advantage of our service this summer?
The employments are doing really well from where they were. We are significantly higher than obviously during the pandemic side of things, but we've also been able to maintain an increase month over month, year over year. So even just 2 years ago, our employment numbers are 40% higher than where they were at that time. I know June, for example, was a really good month for us, but there's a lot of activities that are going on with the Mining Expo and things of that nature. And so we saw a significant increase in our employment numbers. And so I want to say we're averaging our numbers where we need to go in order to meet the minimum criteria for our airport improvement program funding, which is 10,000 employments for the year. So this year, I would anticipate we're going to be in that 12,000 range. And we're really starting to see numbers, like I said, of the total people that are coming through the terminal that are pre-pandemic numbers. And we were only down to one flight. Back in that time period, we had 2 flights a day, and we were averaging, 1,500 people a month. We're starting to ramp up to those numbers having a single aircraft, and that's one of the nice things here recently that started was the introduction of that CRJ 550, which got us back down to that 50-seat regional jet that has the 3 classes of seating: the first class, business class, and coach. It's a really nice aircraft. It's comfortable. It's roomier. I've heard a lot of positive things about that aircraft, and that has slowly helped us out in increasing those numbers as well. And so we're able to get higher load factors on that aircraft because it is the 50-seater as opposed to that 76-seater where we were kind of struggling to fill that. And so that was one of the things that we've kind of come up with, that was a little bit too much for us during this time period, because it seems that we're always trying to build those numbers and make them positive to where it helps out that FAA funding, for example, and it helps out that MRG numbers and keeps those costs down as well, as long as we're using that service. And that's the important thing to remember, is we do need the community to use that service in order to make it viable for the things that we want to do in the future. One of those things that we're looking at doing is we applied for the Small Community Air Service Development Grant through the federal DOT. And what that program is it helps rural communities retain, establish commercial air service. And so with our current 1 flight a day, we anticipate if we get funding for this grant, this would fund a additional midday flight for Elko, which would get us back to the 2 flights a day and help us maintain and our current level of service and also eventually expand that level of service.
Very nice. When might we know about the grant? It's like any grant, right?
Yeah. It's one of those things, like I don't want to say, but if it gets approved, what we are looking at is a January 1st start of the additional midday flight.
All right. That sounds fantastic.
Absolutely. Well, and that second flight is so important to our business and leisure community, because if people are missing a connection or something, currently they're stuck in Salt Lake City for 24 hours. And so that midday flight is so important. And honestly, I think it'll generate a lot more flight usage by just adding that midday flight. So we're so hopeful. And if we can continue to fill that, the CRJ 550, the return overnight flight, the more we fill that, the less the MRG is, and maybe the more we can afford to entertain an MRG for a midday flight. So there's a lot of different ways to look at that.
Well, Jan, thanks again. We appreciate you, bringing Jim in, talking about this. As you said, things are looking positive right now. But the word has been used as in jeopardy, meaning that we all need to come together and care about this resource, because here we are, all these things that the college is growing. We're back on track with the college. We just The county just approved the money for a new event center, so that's like a $30 million facility. And if we didn't have commercial air service, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Absolutely, it just doesn't. And it is so important to this community that we maintain commercial air service. Like you said, and economic development. It is so important to have commercial air service. I talked a little bit with Sheldon Mudd, and he said well over 50% of the applicants or just companies that contact the NNRDA to possibly relocate to our community, that's their first question is, do you have commercial air service? And so if the answer is no, then the first answer is no, for the developers. And so it's very important that we have it and we maintain it. And it just would really be a hardship to our community without it. And one of our board members is Terry Clark, and as you know, she works at RDA. Wrong acronym. The regional hospital, NNRH, and they are able to, attract doctors and physicians, not just specialty physicians, but everyday physicians as well. And if we don't have commercial air service, it would be very difficult for them to get health care to our community.
We know that general aviation's healthy, right, Jim? I mean, that's a separate, but the airport is well used and a lot of pride in the Elko Regional Airport. But can you think of a time where we've ever not had commercial air service? I mean, this is part of our legacy.
So in the time that I've been here, we've always maintained commercial air service. And one of the really kind of a neat thing that is going to be occurring in the next year and a half is the 100th anniversary of commercial air service in Elko. And so we've had different providers over the time. Originally, it started out as an airmail route through Varney Airlines. And so it progressed from that to what the big one, United, basically originally started in Elko as Varney Airlines, and they merged with a couple other airlines, which created the entity that we know as United. And United was one of the major airlines that we had servicing Elko back in I believe it was the 70s. And then we've progressed through the different air carriers. Skywest has been with us the longest. I want to say they're probably close to 45 years of service in Elko. And so that's the importance of air service to our community. And the history of the Elko Regional Airport dates back to 1917 at the current location that it's at. I spoke to a colleague that was recently up in Boise, and he had mentioned that they're getting ready to celebrate their centennial as well up there in the Boise area. And it all stems from that first commercial air route. And that was the mail route that came through and that began in Pasco, Washington.
Yep, we had Pony Express, and then suddenly we had the mail route. So look at progress. And we need to keep that, obviously try to maintain that. So that's why FAN is so important. So again, just a plug for Thursday's meeting. Is there anything I didn't ask you about FAN, Jan, that you want to make sure?
No, the only thing I wanted to add to what Jim just alluded to, and yourself, that we've had commercial air service for almost 100 years, but we haven't had a minimum revenue guarantee for 100 years. And so that is the key to why commercial air service is in trouble in our community. And so the City of Elko footing the bill for about $1 to $1.3 million a year isn't sustainable. And that is why it's so important for us to partner with other organizations. And thank heavens, Elko County and Lander County committed to assist with that and join the FAN organization. But that isn't guaranteed every single year as well. I mean, budgeting restraints will always impact that. So the most helpful thing that we can have is people using their Elko Regional Airport and using the airline, and just check it out. We understand there are times that it's economically you just can't do it, but always check it out because it'll surprise you.
It's so fun when it does come up. It's like hitting the jackpot and you say, oh my gosh, I could fly out of here for this. And yeah, so it's definitely worth it to check it. So
Absolutely.
so I guess, Jim, in closing on this topic in particular is just there are talks or negotiations. I mean, every legislative year we're trying to make inroads on that connectivity issue, and FAN, I guess, is essential to any kind of a future we might have in flight connectivity in the state.
They will be, and especially as the new legislation's getting ready to come into session. Once again, we will go full force to the legislation and ask for funding to support the Air Service Development Commission. It's been a approved board. The governor has appointed officials to that board, but we didn't get the funding for it the last session. And so hopefully this session, as that board has come together, will be able to have a strategic plan presented to the Nevada legislation and be able to have that money allocated in order to start some of these things that we started 12 years ago in trying to get additional air service for not only the Elko community, but for the state of Nevada. And the whole premise behind that is the ultimate goal is to create a triangle. And the triangle is to connect the three largest economic hubs in the state of Nevada. That's Elko, Reno, and Las Vegas. And this Air Service Development Commission will help facilitate potentially new airlines coming in to do that, so we can make those connections to the Reno side of things, so we can get our community down to Vegas. And so that'll be very important, and that'll be one of those things. I'm sure here in the next few months I'll be reaching out to some of our local leaders again, asking for letters of support, as this is another initiative that is super important to Elko, but is also for the state is a huge thing, because aviation in the state of Nevada is very lacking, and it's not any particular anybody's fault, but it's just gone by the wayside. And so one of the organizations that I'm involved with is the Nevada Aviation Association, and what they are doing is they have a plan together right now where they are looking at all of the states around us to see how their aviation programs are set up for the state of Nevada. And the one that gets referenced quite a bit is the Wyoming Department of Transportation's Air Service Development side of things, and it's a very robust program, and it was set up very well. So that's one of the things that this Nevada Air Service Development Commission will be working on moving forward. But we're going to throw our hat in the table again. Hopefully I can drag Jan down to Carson City to testify a few more times on this to hopefully get some state allocated funding, which will help out. It'll help out Elko in the sense too, is because it gives us another funding mechanism in order to have these MRGs in place, or in order to apply for additional funding through the state, and not just that program that I mentioned earlier through the federal side of things, but it'll give all airports in Nevada a way to fund commercial air service.
You know, it's just an idea, but it seemed to work for Hawaii. They got almost the whole community together on buses, and they went to the legislative session. They went to Carson City. It just seems like we're not on the radar. And when I talk to people from around the state, they don't understand. They say, what do you mean you can't fly from Elko to any place else in Nevada? We can't. We have to fly to and from Salt Lake City. And therefore, it's expensive, and we don't connect. And we're helping build stadiums and enhancing tourism and enhancing all these revenue streams for the state. We can't participate. And we can't get on a plane and fly to Vegas and see the hockey game that we helped build the arena for, right? I mean,
those are all very important points. And I think that's one of the things when we talk about creating this triangle is to be able to do that. You know, the ultimate goal would be great if we had a Vegas flight twice a week down to Vegas to do those types of things. But the important side of that too is to bring that community here to see some of the stuff that Elko has to offer, and especially during the summertime with the events that we do have going on. But Lamoille Canyon is a significant resource for us as well, and so there are a lot of people that don't even realize that we have commercial air service in Elko, Nevada, which is a struggle at times. For some of us that are around it every single day, to hear that, it's mind-boggling sometimes. But it's the importance of getting that word out, and FAN's going to definitely help with that. Some of the marketing efforts that we're currently under is getting that information out. And building up that data, so then we have the ability at some point to address another airline. And when they ask, well, what's the historical data that you have? Well, we can show that, and we can prove that. And that's some of the big things when it comes to air service development stuff, is the ability to prove to an airline that we would be a worthy partner. And obviously I believe that we are, and I believe that an Elko to Reno route is significant for us, and I believe that the Elko to Vegas route is a significant part of that process, and utilizing that service. And so those are some of the things that we'd definitely be working on, but education is the important part of it.
Yep. Well, maybe we'll get you, Jim, and then you're going to be meeting at the convention center on Thursday. ECVA officials are also hard at work. They had a cowboy country tourism meeting just this morning. And so all of these efforts are happening. We just need to, as you said, educate people and get this message out to the rest of the state. We would love to have more people come for it's the 40th National Cowboy Poetry Gathering this year. And
absolutely. We have so many opportunities in Elko, and
Vegas people love coming here. Absolutely. They hunt here all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And get out of the heat. You know, even in the middle of July for us, it's warm, but it's cool for them. And so, we have a lot of opportunity. And I just want to mention a couple things. I want to give a couple plugs, but the ECVA has been very helpful in promoting Elko Regional Airport, and making sure that the Elko Regional Airport is on all of their convention and event materials. And then Berger already has submitted a bill for this to fund the Air Service Development Commission. And so we're thankful to both of those for helping us with that.
All right, Jan and Jim, both, thank you. I know we spent time on this topic today, but it's very important to the community. And the meeting is Thursday, and you'll still have time. You can go to the the Flight Alliance of Northeast Nevada meeting at 4, and it goes till 6, and then everybody can head up to the college for the Beats and Bites.
Beats and Bites on Thursday evening, and that is a fun. That's a fun event. They have live music, all the food trucks, yard games, and it's a great community event, and it's just fun to have the college available and accessible, and everybody can go up there for a great event. I've only been to one out of the 3. I missed the rain one, but it's a fun event, and so for sure, if people have the time, go up and join that after the fan.
Yep, sounds good. Well, in the time, we won't be looking really at a lot on the most recent council meeting. We can pick up from that. Unless there are some things that really jump out for you, but I know you wanted to emphasize some of our open positions. The City Council did, during their recent meeting last week, Jan, vote to realign some of the positions that should make them a little more enticing for professionals.
Correct. I'm hoping so. And so that is one of our postings on our job board right now. And so it's the city engineer position. And so for over a year, we have not had a public works director. And then on top of that, we lost our city civil engineer in December of 23. And so our thought is to combine, in a sense, combine those two positions into the city engineer position. It will be an appointed position. And so that is posted on our website. We still have the civil engineer position posted as well. And so Anyway, so yes, the city engineer position, we're hoping will be a little more enticing. We know it's a tight market for engineers right now, and so we're hoping to entice some engineers that way. And then we also have posted an administrative assistant, and she won't like it that I'm advertising this, but my assistant, Kim Wilkinson, is retiring, and she will be dearly missed. She's just a really wonderful person, and so we have her position posted. And then the city clerk, technician 2, we have that posted as well, and that will be the last position at the city clerk that we need to fill, and so we're excited about that after the meeting on Tuesday, if council appoints Annette Robinson, which I believe they probably will.
I think that's almost a given, right? Can't imagine, but
They
yes.
have indicated that they will, so I'm
Yes.
sure they will. And the whole city, all the leadership team, everybody's excited for Annette, and she's got a good team behind her, and so we're all vested in her success for sure. And then the last position that we have posted right now is a police patrol officer. And anyway, I talk about that often, but our Elko Police Department is just a really, what is the word? Highly dedicated group of individuals, and we just appreciate them so much, and it's a great place to work.
They have attracted some professionals from neighboring states and communities because they do have such a fine reputation, a lot of respect. You know, they invest in training, again, thanks to the council. So, yeah, a lot going for it. And great leadership with Chief Ty Troughton and the rest of his administrative staff there, Jan.
Absolutely,
So, yeah.
yes. It's a great organization to be with, and it's a career, and Anyway, so the Elko Police Department, like you said, great reputation, and so we're excited to have that opened again as well.
All right. Find out more about those jobs online. Okay, elkocity.gov, right?
Yes, or elkocity.com.
Okay, .com on that one.
It'll take you there. Just
Yeah,
put
you'll
in
get
Elko
there.
City.
You'll get there. And Jan, again, thanks. I was just checking the clock. Oh, we've got a little bit of time to fill. So I mean, I was just looking. I got my new water bill. I paid it. People should have seen that. They might have been a shock for some. It went from the 86 something to just over 100.
Okay,
barely
so about
over.
$15 increase for you, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So the people with meters, it would be a 10% increase. People with flat rates, it was a 20% increase plus a $5 per month capital improvement fee. And anyway, yes, so we're, in fact, I think tomorrow, our utility director will be down in Carson City before the water department down there, Nevada Department of Environmental Protection, and talking to them about our modernization project and funding for that. And so we're hoping that they approve that project, and then we can go forward with our bonding. And that project, we believe, at a minimum will be 3 years, and at a maximum around 5, but we're hoping for 3. And what that will include is meters throughout the city. And it's a big change, but then people that are using the water will pay for the water. And it's just a change that is happening really in every community throughout the state, with the exception of Elko. And so we need to get that done. And there's some important reporting that the state is requiring, and we currently can't complete that reporting. And one of them is a water loss report, and currently we can't complete that because we don't have the metered water, and we can't tell exactly where we have a water loss.
All right. So getting with the program and looking forward to that. In the meantime, if you are on a flat rate and you are looking at your bill thinking, wow, I guess I could do better, then you should apply with the city to get your water meter installed, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So until this modernization project gets underway, we still offer our grant program for water meters. And what that entails is the customer would pay for the water meter, and the city will pay to get it installed. And so there are some people out there that use very little water, and a meter would probably decrease your bill. So if they're interested in that, for sure, they can call the utility department, and we can get them on that list.
Jan, thanks so much. Anything else you wanted to add to today's program? The council will meet again next week in regular session.
Yes, well, next week we'll have a presentation by the Elko County Zero Suicides, which is really important, and I believe September is Suicide Awareness Month, so it'll be a great presentation, I'm sure, by that organization. And then we will be recognizing Kim Wilkinson, who is retiring, and then and these are just some things I'm thinking off the top of my head that are on the agenda that is not finished yet, but also we will approach council about appointing Annette Robinson as the Elko City Clerk and have her oath of office.
Sounds exciting. That and more to come, and keep listening and we'll keep you up to date. Jan, thank you so much for being on this program and for bringing our guest today, for bringing Jim Foster along. We appreciate both of you.
Absolutely. Thank you to Jim Foster. He knows everything there is to know about commercial air service and the airport, and so appreciated. He's educating me every day. Poor Jim.
Thanks, Jim. And I was thinking, rather than getting busloads of people, maybe we can get all the general aviation people together, and then they can fly us all over, and we can descend like an Oshkosh fly-in thing. Wouldn't that make a statement? See? I mean, are your wheels turning now?
That is a great idea. It's something that we should look into, and one of the things I think that we will, since you brought that up, is looking at bringing back our Sky Fair.
Love that event.
Was a program that we used to have
Yeah.
back in the day. It was a static display air show, and so
skydivers and everything. They came over from Utah. It was so fun.
yeah, it was a good time. We had a car show going on at the same time out there. So
Yeah.
now you got the wheels turning.
Oh,
so
I love that.
I'm gonna have to take a look into
next
that
month.
All right, your airport advisory board, when you get that up and rolling, they're going to be ready to rock and roll on that too. So, hey, thanks so much, Jim.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks, Jim Foster. Thanks, Jan Baum. Thank you, listeners, for joining us for today's Elko Live program here on KELK.